Hey, welcome everybody. Uh, I'll wait for a couple more people to come online, but I really appreciate you joining me today. I was really compelled to do this. I'll be on here for an hour from 9:30 to 10:30. I was really compelled to do this because of so many of my subscribers. I got so many new subscribers, rather, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to meet me live and ask any questions that you want to ask, or um, also just to give you some context about Sunshine Shoulders, how it all came about, what we do at Sunshine Shoulders, because we also have a Facebook page, and I invite you to go there and check that out and see what we're doing here in the Philippines. We're doing a lot of good things here in the Philippines, but I just want to use this next hour just to get to know you and let you get to know me, personally. This is my first live stream. Hopefully of many to keep you updated. But I'm Calvin Roach. I'm 57 from Louisville, Kentucky, and I came here to the Philippines in 2009. I believe I was going through a midlife crisis, what they call it. But I just wanted something different. I had traveled to Mexico. I traveled to different places close to the United States, and I just decided I wanted to get away from that rat race. Man, I was an insurance agent. I mean, I was working hard, on commission. Remember, and this is my 18th year of doing that, and I just really needed a break. I didn't really know what was waiting for me when I came over here, but it's been one pleasant surprise after the other. And if anybody's interested in coming to the Philippines, uh, I would encourage you to come on over here because it's in stark contrast to the United States in a lot of ways. I mean, especially uh, the way of life here. It's really slowed down. It's like getting in a time machine, really, going back to like 1960 or 1970. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about it. And everything's much more clear, much more upfront here. So I'm here to take any questions that you may have. Uh, Timothy Certain, I was about like you, but I was just a little bit younger. I was 47, and I'd been on that hamster wheel for so long, and it just looked like it took, it was harder and harder for me to maintain the lifestyle that I had. With because you know how it is in America. We're always trying to prove ourselves, and I had the new car, the new van, big house, the five children, the wife, and it seemed like every year I had to work harder and harder just to maintain that facade. Really, is what it was because I wasn't happy, and I said, man, I need something different. And I've been married for 18 years. When uh, when I had that midlife crisis, I'm not ashamed to say it. I know that's what it was. Hindsight is 2020. You look back and you say, uh, that's exactly what I had. I woke up one morning and I was like, seemed like the world was closing in on me. You know, I knew that I had more time behind me than I had in front of me, and I was making a lot of uh, just I don't know the word for it, but a lot of my choices. And I should just get in my convertible. That's another thing. I bought me a brand new convertible, and I used the excuse that I've always wanted a convertible my whole life because I had one when I was in the Navy. But that was all a part of it, And then all of a sudden, my wife, who was 7 years younger than me, she was too old. I wanted a younger woman for some reason. I don't know. It's a mental thing, man. And I like to talk about it because I want men to talk about it because it's real. I heard about it growing up. What's up, Stephen Francis? He's calling from Bermuda. Uh, I mean, I know it's nice over there. It'd be somewhere I'd like to visit. But I knew I wanted to get out of the United States, and I'll never, and I can say never. I'll never live permanently in the United States again. Will I stay here for the rest of my life? That's my plan. But if not, it won't be back in the United States. It'll be somewhere else, Portugal, Mexico, somewhere. But my boots on the ground here right now, batting the hatches down. I'm happy here, man. And um, Timothy, absolutely, you could live off 800 to 1,000 a month here, but just make sure that you pick the right area. You don't want to live in Metro Manila on 800 to 1,000, but you could certainly live in San Carlos City, where I'm living now, Negros Occidental, for 800 to 1,000 a month. Aloha to How to Hawaiian, Gerard. I recognize you. Yeah, all is well here, brother. How's the weather in Hawaii? He's been one of my new subscribers, and he supports me and follows Sunshine Shoulders. But like the last stream, if you would, and if you haven't already, if you want to subscribe, you like our channel, go ahead and do that. I don't force people to do that. And also go over to our Sunshine Shoulders Facebook page. I invite you to go over there and see what we're doing. We're doing some good things here in the Philippines, and I'm by no means rich or well off in money. But as far as spiritually, mentally, physically, I'm as rich as I'm possibly going to be. But I decided about 3.5 months ago, I started looking around me and I saw how people were suffering. I said, man, I'm a sacrifice 1,000 pesos a week out of my savings. That's only $20, man, but it's big over here. And to give back to the people in the community, because that's just the way I was raised, man. My mother raised us like that. And that's what I do. So I had to design something to make sure that everybody had an equal chance of winning. So I just designed this little spin wheel, and I put everybody's name in there, and I hit the spin wheel, and that's how it is. And man, I tell you what, go on my Sunshine Shoulders Facebook page, and you'll see that people are just so grateful. They're so happy. Over State Road has having already girlfriends and a wife is that common. His girlfriend and his wife live in the same house and actually seem to get along. Yeah, that is something that's common over here. But most of the time, you have to have some money a lot of times for people to tolerate that. I mean, you have to really be bringing something to the table. And, honestly, and like I tell you, I always like to be honest and upfront. At one time when I first came over here in 2010, I actually had two families. I'm no longer that man anymore, but I had two families, and it wasn't cheating because they knew about each other and they were okay with it. And I'd stay with one family for 2 or 3 months. Then I'd stay with the other family 2 or 3 months. Really not family, but, woman. Okay. And they didn't like each other either, of course. But they was okay with it because I had raised their standard of living dramatically. And, it was just an agreement that it was an unwritten agreement. We never talked about it, but, they knew that I had somebody else. What's going on, Robert Morris? Appreciate you coming over here, man. And pork pie. I did that video for you the other day, but the one on condoms, I'm not gonna be able to do that, brother. That's not my channel. Hey, ML, I don't know what that CNRS stands for, but I was doing well, man. Thanks for joining the live stream. He says, does your wife get bored and have a lot of friends there? Well, see, my wife is from San Carlos City. She has a lot of friends. She's a bookkeeper, actually, and she has the pandemic has shut her down. No, she doesn't get bored. She's getting bored now because, everybody's locked in. We have a stay in place here. It's not like in the United States. We can't just travel around, and we can't make a decision to or wear a mask or not. You're going to wear a mask and you're going to wear a shield over here, or you're going to be fined. And you're going to be fined a lot. I think it's 3,000 pesos, and that's a month's pay to some people. So no, you don't want to play around over here. But no, she's not bored. We have a lot in common. You know, she likes to read and listen to music. And hey, Jane was one of my winners a couple of weeks ago on my Sunshine Shoulders Facebook page, but she had lost her phone. And see, we give the winner about 24 hours to contact Sunshine Shoulders to claim the prize. And if you don't claim the prize, we do the spin again. And I put your name back in, Jane, and I apologize. Walt Tolander, thank you for your subscription. I really, really appreciate it. Um, I just wanted to do a live stream. Over the last several days, I've gotten a lot of new subscribers. I don't know where they're coming from. I'm really thankful for that. And I'm surprised about it because there's no algorithm in play with my channel, I'm sure. I mean, I'm way down the pecking order. But I'm just really blown away by, you know, the love and the support that I've received so far with this little channel. I've been on YouTube for 10 years, but I've only did this Sunshine Shoulders YouTube channel for about 3.5 months. And I really was making it up as I went, man. You know, I just decided that I was going to give away my 11 years experience here in hopes that I can help somebody avoid a lot of the mistakes I made when I came over here. Because when I tell you that there's a handbook on the Philippines, it's true. And you need to read it before you come over here. I didn't. And it's crazy. I made mistake after mistake after mistake. And now those mistakes are my secrets I pass on to you. And Pork Pie, you are exactly right. It is surprising. I mean, that a place like the Philippines, supposedly a third world country, I call it a first class third world country, is controlling this COVID a lot better than the United States. But see, nobody over here is worried about their rights and all that stuff. They're trying to stay alive. They're trying to stay safe, protect themselves, their families, their friends. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm glad I'm here now, because if not, I'm sure I'd have the COVID already. I look on Facebook, man, it scares me. My friends and family, man, that were not wearing masks and not social distancing. They don't realize, man, we're in the middle of a raging pandemic, but it's crazy. Randall Frank, hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. It's really humbling, man. You know, I just, people say they like my real content, but where I come from and how I was raised, it's the only way I know how to be. I mean, I looked through Facebook. I used to follow a few guys on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, YouTube, and everybody wants to be this tour guide. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I said, there's a place for that, but I want to be more informative. And yeah, sometimes my channel's entertaining, you know, inspiring, sometimes motivating, but I like to keep it positive. I don't want to bash anybody. And, remember, I'm not an expert. And I always tell people that. So, your perception a lot of times is going to be in disagreement with mine, and that's okay. We can disagree and still get along. Yeah, that Philippine peso is kicking butt. It's kicking the dollar's butt too, Gerard. And I tell you, man, I've lost so much, man. I'm so discouraged. I'll be glad when this pandemic is over so the dollar can go back up, because when I came here, the dollar was 53.8 pesos to the dollar. Now it's like 48.3. So for every $100 I was exchanging, I've lost about $11, man. That is crazy. I mean, really. Okay, Jane, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Go ahead and do some household chores or whatever you're gonna do. Hey, nobody special. That's my buddy, my new best friend, Walt. No, Norman from Oklahoma, man. What's going on? Thanks for joining me, man. I really appreciate your support. Uh, Norman came over in 2015. I told him when he gets ready, come on back. I'm gonna show him the real Philippines. And yeah, I'm getting along real well in this new property, man. This place is like a hotel compared to that other place. And remember, I told you I was gonna have trouble getting my deposit back. She messaged us yesterday. She said she can't afford to pay us back that deposit. She doesn't realize that was our money. But when you're in Rome, you got to do as the Romans do. I gave that to my girlfriend anyway. I said I knew we wasn't gonna get it back. I don't have time for the headache. Okay. Um, yeah, I saw that Alabama 63, Kentucky 3. Some things never change, Norm, and that's one of them. You know, I think Kentucky goes in there as much progress as Kentucky's football program has made. I think they go into places like Florida and Alabama and LSU expecting to lose, and that's what happens. But I'm gonna tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. When this place reopens up, you're gonna be shocked. I'll be glad when it does because it's getting lonely over here, man. I can hear a pin drop over here because I like to run into foreigners, man. Like me. I like to run into expats and just talk to them and ask them their story a little bit that they'll tell me. But here now, man, you hardly see any. But I do have. I think he's an American um, that lives right next door to me. I haven't had time to talk to him. I saw him the other night, and man, he was two sheets to the wind. So I really didn't want to say anything to him. But yeah, we'll wait for basketball season here. Oh man, do they have apples here? Absolutely. Um, some of the best apples that I've ever tasted. I don't know what they will be called. They're not them Washington apples. They're not the granny apples. What's that other Japanese apple that they have? I believe that's where they get a lot of their apples from, Korea and Japan. But I mean, they're delicious. They're hard. They're crunchy. I put them in the refrigerator, and it's a meal all by itself. And that's one of the ways I've been able to lose. Man, I've lost 27 pounds of fat since I've been here. And one of the things I started doing was eating an apple a day. And that's all I asked you to do. A lot of the comfort foods that I like, they're not here, see? So whenever I feel down and depressed or something, I can't reach for a Snickers or, a bologna sandwich or something like that. I go in there and drink, the Fuji apple. Exactly, Randall. And that's what that is, Fuji. Yeah, I mean, they're delicious, man. And they're so cheap. Uh, yeah, my wife's a great cook. And when I say my wife, it's my girlfriend, but over here, they call her your wife, and she calls herself your wife. And she's a great cook. Um, I've cut down on my fried foods over here, but she can cook anything. And see, that's the thing about the Philippines. Philippines has a bad reputation for their foods, but it's not correct. I've been here long enough. I'm gonna tell you that they have delicious food over here. It just depends on who cooks it and where you get it, because you want to stay away from these street vendors a lot of times, unless there's a reputable one somewhere around, and you can ask the locals because I was reading the other day, and I was shocked, man. 50% of Filipinos, they have parasites inside of them from eating that street food because a lot of times it's half cooked, especially when you buy that barbecue on the street. But some of these local restaurants, man, the food is delicious. You wouldn't believe it. I told you about that barbacoa that I eat, and it's only 70 pesos for this big bowl that'll feed 3 or 4 people. Once you find a good local restaurant here, man, it's like striking gold. It's like finding a good barber. It's like finding a good laundry service here. Uh, and you don't want to let go of it. See, I'm bald. Nobody in my family's bald. This is the result of a bad haircut, you know, right here in San Carlos. But I think it started a long time ago in Manila. And my hair wouldn't grow back. Because I had the best barber in the world in Cebu when I lived in Cebu. Because a haircut here is about $1. But if you go to one of them fancy places like Bruno's Um, it's going to cost you about $4, but you get the massage, you get the whole 9 yards. Uh, yeah, Stephen Moore. It's not many Americans, but it's enough where I see if I go to the grocery store, if I go in town, I always see one or two. So that lets me know there's few around here, but it's mostly Europeans that live here, and I can tell by their accent. There's a lot of British, a lot of Swiss. There's a lot of Swiss people in the Philippines, period. I mean, all over the Philippines. I don't know where that connection comes from, but it's a lot. Uh, oh, yeah, 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 Norm, you're exactly right. But it's one of those things where, remember, I was telling you about the culture shock. When you go into the marketplace the first time, it's going to shock you. But see, remember, you're going to reject it first. You're going to get comfortable. You're going to accept it. Then you're going to start engaging in it. And I'm to the point where those flies and stuff like that don't even bother me anymore because I know that that's just part of the program over here. But yeah, you're right. Um, there's no refrigeration. That's why I go early in the morning, get my fish, chicken, or whatever it is I want to buy at the market, vegetables, and get out of there. Because uh, the longer you wait, the more likely it is something's going to go wrong. And one thing I learned about over here, see, is if you look at the fish and it has red eyes, you don't want to buy it. If the eyes are red, that means it's old. And I didn't know that before. Hey, what's going on, Jay? Black American Expat Radio. We have a show every I guess it would be Tuesday night on his channel, Love and Life in the Philippines. It's really, really getting popular, and we don't spare any subjects. Uh, he used to live in the Philippines. I think, where you live now, Jay? Medellin, Colombia. He's like me. He he likes to get out and see the world, man, because my friends always ask me, why did I move to the Philippines? They don't understand that the world, I mean, the earth, rather, I keep saying the world, the earth is approximately 197 million square miles. Let that sink in. Now, where I'm from, Louisville, Kentucky, it's 334 square miles out of 197 million square miles, of which 58 million square miles is actual land, living space. Man, that's not even a drop in the ocean. I mean, can you imagine why I was so frustrated? Because all we do is we exchange wives and girlfriends, exchange jobs, used cars, houses. It's just rewarming everything over in America. Man, I said, I want something new. And that's why I'm here, man. I wanted something new. There's my buddy Love and Freedom, man. I was hoping you showed up. Brother lives in Mexico. He's another one that, decided to, hey, I'm getting out of the United States. And I love America, don't get me wrong. But the lifestyle is something that I don't love. I don't love that lifestyle. It's getting harder and harder to maintain, that middle class lifestyle I was living. Uh, and I said, man, I got to do something different. Because I'm going to tell you something, and this is a 100% fact. If I was still living in America, had I never moved here, I would be dead, possibly in a nursing home after having a stroke. Man, so many of my friends have died since I've been here. So many have had strokes, man. I mean, young guys, late 30s, early 40s. One of my good friends, he just died. He was 64. He just looked like he was in normal, uh, health. I used to see him every day. I'd give him rides. Every now and then he'd let me give him a ride because he loved to walk. He just dropped dead. Just bought a house, a few years ago. Him and his wife. He was one of them late bloomers. And the lifestyle I was living, man, it was killing me, man. And, I'm always on the go. I've got a small, tiny insurance agency over there. I had like 20 agents working with me. They didn't work for me because they were independent, but They worked up under my contract. I received a percentage of their sales, and man, it was so stressful because it all rode on my shoulders. If something went wrong, see, in the insurance business, I don't know if you're aware of this, but if I come to your house and I sign you to a policy, the company will give me what's called an advance. They'll give me 9 months advance of your monthly premium. So if your premium is $50 for the whole year at 600, they'll give me 9 months of that up front. So they'll give me 450. But if you don't keep the policy within a year, they take that 450 back. So imagine having 20 guys working underneath you. And I'm talking about I had millions of dollars on my shoulder, man, every month. And I tell you what, I didn't get a lot of sleep. And I said, man, I got to do something different. And in 2009, just on a whim, came over here, and it's probably one of the best decisions of my life. I'm grateful, man, that I found the Philippines, really, because had I not, because at that time I was going through a bitter divorce. After being married for 18 years, we had started a daycare center. It was growing pretty good, and she is coming into her own, and I don't know, people treat you different when you successful than when you're struggling. Because see, when me and my wife were struggling, we were best friends, man. We did everything together, uh, traveled, but the minute it seemed like I was enjoying a little success in my insurance business, man, she got bitter. And because I'd say 90% of my clients are women, but hell, they're older women. Hell, I don't, what am I going to do with a 69-year-old woman? But anyway, so I hated coming home. I was 55 when I semi-retired because I do some work over the phone now, pork pie. But I was 55 when I semi-retired, and I won't go back to working full time. Not doing what I was doing anyhow. But William Anderson, man, I tell you what, that Playa del Carmen, we spent 5 days, man. Probably some of the most beautiful beaches there and resorts. I went there with a company, and it was, I'd won a contest, and they picked like the top 10 salesmen or something. And we went to Playa del Carmen, and man, it's one of the nicest places I've ever been to in my life. We had access to 3 resorts, and see, the Mexican people and the Filipino people, they are similar to me as far as being hospitable. And I mean, they treated us, man, as well as you could possibly be treated. But see, Mexico was really my first choice. But then I said, I did like 10 days in Cancun, and I was like, man, it's just too close to the United States. A lot of the people I was meeting, Mexican people, they had moved back to Mexico from the United States. And I was like, man, I want to get a little bit farther away. But Rick P, he says, why did I move from the States to the Philippines to be a second-class citizen? Well, I'm not a second-class citizen here, but I know what you're saying. Why give up all my rights and protections and privileges to come here? Well, what good are those rights, protections, and privileges if you're dead? If you're cold in the ground, 6 feet in the ground? See, the lifestyle over there was just killing me, man. I got to the point where, as you get older, you realize there's a lot of illusion over there. That American dream that we chase after a lot of times, what I've come to figure out now is it's only a dream for immigrants, man. I tell you, when they come over there, yeah, it's a dream, for them. But for us who've been there, born and raised in America, the stress level, just the conversations I have with my friends and family over there, everybody's just, look at the COVID situation, man, right now. They're arguing about whether or not to wear a mask that's going to save their life over there. See, that's why I moved over here. I had to get away from that for a little while. And, just that whole entitlement attitude and all that old racism and hate over there, man. It just you get tired of it, man. You say, hey, I'm 57 now, man. I don't know how many more years I got left, but however many more years I got left, I want to be on my terms. I want to live, uh, happy, joyous, and free, man. I'm tired of fighting and all of that, man. So I ceased fighting, and that's why I came here, man. And I didn't give up my citizenship. Remember, I can go home anytime I want. It's not like I'm locked up over here. This was a choice I made, and it's probably one of the best choices I ever made in my entire life. Because I appreciate America more now. I took it for granted. Now that I'm on the outside looking in, man, I love it. I love my country, but I just can't live there anymore. You know, I haven't been to Subic. I stay away uh, from that Luzon area, man. And I tell you, I'm missing out on a lot. I know because one of my good friends, Philip, he lives here in the Philippines. He lives north of Metro Manila. Excuse me. He lives in somewhere around Candon City or something. Um, and now I'd like to go way up there like that, but Subic and all that, man, I just don't want to be around a lot of tourists and different things like that, man. That's why I like places like, San Carlos City, Siquijor Island. If you've never been to Siquijor Island, guys, I'm gonna tell you something. When the Philippines opens back up, make that your #1 destination. This is a secret, man. A lot of people don't know about this place. The locals are scared to death to go there because it's got this reputation for witchcraft and charlatans and different things like that, witch doctors. But man, I'm gonna tell you, there's no tourists there. When you see a tourist, they live there. And this place, it's the third smallest island in the Philippines, and it's just surrounded by all white sand beach. The white sand beach runs all around Siquijor Island, and if you ever get bored, you just get on the ocean jet and go to Dumaguete City. It's only 35 minutes away. Um, my own buntag to Rose in the Philippines. Thanks for stopping by. Um, hey, Michael, man, I tell you what, I was just talking about that peso and the dollar. It would have to go down pretty low. I've been here where it's been as low as 43, so it's got a long way to go uh, till it reaches that critical point where you want to panic. And I think with the vaccine, um, being where it is now, I think in the next 3 or 4 months they're going to roll that out. See, the dollar's going to kick back up because the reason it's down so much and the peso so strong because the Philippines isn't importing anything, so they don't need the U.S. dollar. That's it's really a fickle. It's not a real uh, exchange rate for real. So you just got to be patient. Um, but yeah, it had to get way down before I panic. Probably somewhere around that 42, 43, and then you start panicking because, like I said, when I got here it was 53.8. It's 48.3 now. So I'm losing 5.5 pesos per dollar. So every 100 pesos, I'm spent, it's 5,500 pesos, man. That's a lot of money. It's about over $11 for every 100 that you exchange, man. That's crazy. But the cost of living saves me really over here because this big place I've got here, man, big modern nice place I have now, it's only $170 a month. My utilities, my water bill is about $3, and then my electric bill is going to be about $25. See, yeah, Timothy, yeah, you'll see a lot of Chinese in uh, mostly the Cebu, Manila, because man, trust me, they're the #1 expat over here. It's not Europeans, it's not Americans, it's Chinese. I think it's like 400,000 Chinese over here. And their relationship with the Philippines goes way back. And they own a lot of the businesses here, man. They're filthy rich over here, a lot of them. And, uh, you know, a lot of them, they've got like half Filipino, half Chinese, and man, they're filthy. They own a lot of the businesses over here, along with the Koreans. But yeah, I see a lot of them all the time. But it wasn't until, and I don't want to sound stupid, but it wasn't until I came to the Philippines that I was able to distinguish Asians. Man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm just a little country boy from Kentucky, and even though I traveled the world in the Navy, I just couldn't tell them apart, but now I can. You'll see the Filipino, he has more personality. You'll be able to tell him right off the bat from any other Asian, okay? And they just have that welcoming face. When I flew into South Korea, my first time over here, I knew immediately because the Koreans, the Japanese and Chinese, they're just so cold and there's no personality showing on the outside. But the Filipino, yeah, he's laughing, he's joking, he's, and all of that. He said, I hear you talking about everything. Church. Yeah, well, my wife is, they're 85% Catholic over here. And every now and then I'll go see, I'm just a Protestant, I guess, and I'm not really a practicing Protestant at that. But but I'll go to the Catholic Mass with her, just out of respect for her and her culture. But I grew up in the church, man, and it's just something that I don't do a lot of nowadays. I don't think that you need the church to be moral. My father was a preacher, but my mother wasn't, and everything that I learned from my mother. So, I just don't think that you have to have religion to be moral. But I respect every religion. I don't care what your religion denomination is. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to practice and believe, I respect it. But me, I don't do a lot of church anymore. And I guess because I grew up in church and, seeing my father, man, my father was a character, okay? I mean, see, I found out about preachers a long time ago. But I know, I'm just, just kind of, I always like to elaborate a little bit when somebody asks me a question. How preachers are, man. My father, man, he knew how women love preachers, and I tell you, he took advantage of that. And it's something that I just, behind the scenes. But yeah, you're right, Norma. Church is where you make it, you know. But yeah, I used to fly into Japan all the time, but I never, left the airport. What I would do is, wait for my plane to come to the Philippines. But, the #1 thing that I struggle with over here is the language, really. And that's good and bad because by me not understanding the language, I'm not being fluent, it keeps me out of a lot of the trouble over here, and it keeps a positive attitude because when people are gossiping and all of that, I can't hear it. Or if somebody says something bad toward me, I don't understand it. So that kind of helps me by not, but at the same time, it can leave you lonely and isolated. A lot of times I'll go and I'll be in a room full of people and they're all speaking their language. And of course, another thing I like about Philippines is they don't force you to learn their language and their culture like we are in America. Hey, Vincent Hinton, what's going on, brother? Yeah, come on over to Siquijor Island, man. I'm gonna tell you, because that's probably where I'm gonna be moving after the pandemic. But they're not like Americans. They don't, we force you to learn English, and you better start celebrating Thanksgiving and St. Patrick's Day and all that other stuff. But over here, they don't do that. and I can't force them to speak English, even though a lot of them understand English and they speak English well enough to communicate with me. They're much more comfortable speaking their own language, and who blames them? He says, do I pay company to do your immigration? No, you don't have to do that. It's real simple. Um, See, I'm going Monday or Tuesday. Uh, yeah, hey, what's up, Don? Yeah, the St. Stephen's. I just read where Reverend Cosby got the COVID-19. He contracted COVID-19. I saw that. But yeah, Timothy, you don't have to pay anybody to do your immigration. It's real simple. You just go to the Bureau of Immigration office, and it's just a form you fill out. And they'll ask you, is it 1 month, 2 months, 6 months? You fill it out, give them your passport, the form. They'll go back there and check the blacklist, make sure you're not on the blacklist, or make sure your passport is still good. And then um, they come back and stamp it. Or more than likely, they'll put a stamp on there, an actual physical stamp. Shows you, how long your visa renewal is for. But as an American, and I take it you're an American, I'm not really sure or not, but when you come over to the Philippines, you get 30 days with just your passport. But then if you stay beyond that, you're going to have to get an extension, a visa extension. And 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months. So no, you don't need anybody to do your immigration. Even when uh, I did the K1 and brought my ex over to the United States, we didn't even need a lawyer. It's just straight up and down. Hey, John Thomas, I appreciate you, man. I see you stopping by my Sunshine Shoulders Facebook page. I honestly don't deal with charities, you know, because charities, they take that money off top, and by the time it gets to the people, it's especially over here, you really have to be careful. I learned a lot from that Typhoon Yolanda, the billions and billions of aid that was sent here, man. The people received only a drop in the bucket of that. So what I do, it's me and a couple of guys, man. We take money out of our own pocket and we help people. I just helped a family up in the Cagayan Valley. We gave them 3,000 pesos, man. It's a lot of money over here, especially during the pandemic, especially after a typhoon. And that's what we do. I don't deal with charities over here. It's just really, really shaky, man. And I wouldn't do it if I was you. I guess there's some good charities over here. I wouldn't doubt it, but I learned from that Typhoon Yolanda, man. I'm talking about it was billions and billions and billions of dollars in U.S. dollars, not pesos, sent over here. And man, the masses, the people did not receive it. And all you have to do is go to, to Cloven, and you'll see. The people are still rebuilding there, man. You're talking about resilience, man. These people are rebuilding that place. And 7 years later, uh, coffee crap, that's probably 100% correct. All right. Good one. Thank you for that. He says, send your money to the Philippine Red Cross only. And yeah, I forgot about that. That's probably the way I would go, John, if you didn't want to just send the money straight to somebody. Yeah. And thanks, Michael. I really appreciate it because, I'm boots on the ground here, man. I'm in the middle of all this. I live among the locals. People think I just say that as some type of introduction, man. It's true. It benefits you. I can see on the ground what's going on, man. It's not a lot of old red tape, you know. I see the suffering, man, and I see the good and the bad, and I just pass it on to you. I'm not an expert, and I don't want to come off like that because, especially as men, man, we get turned off by this stuff when people try to tell us what to do and how to run our lives. I don't want to do that. I just like to share my perspective with people. Maybe it'll help you make your trip more enjoyable, especially more safer. because I'm gonna tell you something. The Philippines doesn't get the credit it deserves. Man, it is super safe here, safer than I could ever imagine. Once you get outside of certain places, man, St. Carlos City, man, the crime is literally non-existent here. They have such a low crime rating here, man. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I could go right now if the park was open, lay on the ground on a blanket, man, and sleep there, and nobody would bother me. And I like in the Shawnee Park where I live, somebody's gonna come up there and check your pockets. They're gonna make sure you sleep, and they, they want to see if you got something. But over here, they don't do that. They leave you alone. But yeah, John Thomas, I wouldn't deal with a lot of these charities. If push comes to shove, hey, send it to the Red Cross. But yeah, Timothy, I didn't go to the Philippines when I was in the Navy. But I worked with a lot of Filipino cooks. See, I was a cook in the Navy, but I didn't cook because I've got I was born with just a mathematical man. I can be and I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you, it's something I didn't have. I'm not responsible for, but I'm just very, very good with numbers, and I can beat a calculator. I'm talking about way out there. And when they found that out, they put me ahead of the inventory, and that's what I used to do every month or every 2 months when I was on the aircraft carrier, the USS John F. Kennedy, and man, it's a lot of stuff, stock and inventory on there. So we get a ship pulled beside of us, and I have to count all that stuff and put it away, inventory, and do all that. And that's what I did. But I met a lot of Filipinos in the Navy, and they used to tell me about the Philippines, but I never came here. It was only into July of 2008 that I made a decision to come here, and I didn't come until 8 months later in April of 2009. And because I tell people all the time, when I did decide to come to the Philippines, I didn't have the money. I didn't even know where I was going to get it from. But after reading those Think and Grow Rich books and all of that stuff, I made it an obsession, man. And believe it or not, in 7 months, not only did I have enough money to come here, I could have brought 2 or 3 people with me when I finally made it over here. But no, I didn't. But I went to a lot of other places. See, there's 2 places I didn't go: Philippines and Perth, Australia. And those were the first 2 places I was going to go. See, my story is this. This is a true story. I saved up $20,000. And in 2009, I said, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to travel around the world. Okay? But my first stop is going to be the Philippines. Next is going to be Perth, Australia, because Philippines is not far from Australia, really, depending on what part of Australia you're going to. But I got over here to the Philippines, and I liked it so much that I never went anywhere else, and I haven't been anywhere else. Okay? That's just been my experience. Some people don't like it over here for whatever reason. But the people who like it here, they really like it. There's no in between. You either love the Philippines or you hate it. There's no in between. And that's just been my experience. But I love it over here. There's no better place I'd rather be. The people here, man, they roll out the brightest red carpet for me. The guy said, why would I come there to be a second-class citizen? Man, they treat me like a rock star here, man. And it takes a while to get used to that, because I'm shy and bashful for real, and, when people stare at you, I mean, even 11 years later, man, I go places, man, people still stare. You would think I was Michael Jackson or LeBron James or somebody, and I know that sounds funny, I know that sounds strange, but anybody would tell you, I don't care what foreigner you are, you come over here, man, and people are going to really welcome you. They're going to really treat you special. And I don't know where that comes from, but that's just part of their culture. And it's something that I really love because, no matter what Filipinos think of me as a black man, they don't hate me. And boy, that's a big difference from what I come from, and that's just the reality of it, man. And that's one of the reasons I'm still here. Stephen Moore, my total monthly expenses, I'm talking about, and I'm living the life, really. I'm living a middle class Filipino lifestyle. It's about 1,000 a month, really, a little bit less than that. But see, I've got a son over here, and I give him money every month. Um, but it's less than $1,000, and man, I live good. It's nothing that I don't want to, it's nothing I'm lacking over here for 1,000. But remember, I live in Negros Occidental. I live in the Western Visayas region of the Philippines. It's right in the middle. I don't live in Metro Manila. I don't live in Cebu. And I would tell you that you could probably live good off $1,000 a month, because what a lot of people don't understand is the average salary of a Filipino over here is 12,500 pesos per month. Okay, but that's including the highest of the salaries and the lowest of the salaries. Most of the people that you're gonna meet over here, they're earning somewhere between 4 and 10,000 a month. So $1,000 is about 50,000 pesos a month, man. That's a lot of money over here. And as you live, you learn over here, and you want to try to start adopting some of their practices. You know, um, as soon as you can, you want to get rid of that American thinking. Some things it's good for, the common sense and everything like that. The red alert that goes up in your head when you can smell danger and stuff like that, you want to hold on to. But the sooner you can convert from the dollar to the peso, the better. It's going to save you a lot of money. It takes you a while to do that, but I talk a little bit about that on one of my videos, pesos, pesos, pesos. Because when I first came over here, my first 2 months, I spent $7,000, man. I mean, that's a fortune over here. You got to understand. Um, uh, my girlfriend at the time was only earning about $100 a month. So it would take her 6 years to even save up $7,000, let alone spend it in 2 months. And see, I spoiled her. I made her quit her job, and we eventually didn't. We were together for 2 years, but and that's why I always suggest to guys, hey, be careful when you come over and meet women, because American men, we spoil women. It takes a certain edge over here to make it. When you come over here, women have that edge about them over here. You got to be tough as nails to make it in society. And we dull that edge when we come over here and we spoil them and stuff. And then if the relationship don't work out, man, it's hard for them to go back living the way that they were used to. And in her case, that was it. She's in America now doing very well. But she didn't have a choice, because imagine you going from earning 5,000 a month, working your fingers to the bone. Now all of a sudden you got some man to come over here and he's spending 150,000 pesos a month. You're traveling all over the Philippines. You're living in a brand new condominium. Everything you got a maid. You don't have to work. You're getting your nails done, your pedicure, your hair done. You take them to a whole other stratosphere, and you can do some damage, man. You can upset the cart, so to speak. You can mess with nature when you come over here and you fool with these women. So just always keep that in mind, man. Now, don't play broke. Don't play broke, William. Just be, uh, just be responsible, man. Have a budget. See, you don't want to deny yourself anything, because when you first come over here, the prices of everything's going to shock you, and you're going to have that American thinking. You're going to say, "Oh man, that's cheap." Because when I first came over here, I only stayed in 5-star hotels, because for $75, $80, you can stay in a 5-star hotel, man. It's impossible in America. So that's what I was doing. And I spent a lot of money doing that when I could have just, stayed in a $20 a night pension house, would have done me just as well. You understand? Um, it blows it does blow their mind. And that's what I'm saying. It blows their mind. They will never be the same, see? So you end up going back home, and then they're stuck over here. They're not trying to work for 100 pesos a day anymore, or 200 pesos a month, which is what they're 200 pesos a day is what they're getting paid over here, man. You take a woman to that sort of lifestyle like that, and then all of a sudden she comes crashing down to earth, man. It's an eye opener, and you have to be careful, man. You have to walk a very thin line over here. That's why when I told you if I could talk to my 2009 self, I would have told him, don't even fool with a woman right off the bat. Come over here, spend the money on yourself. Go everywhere you could possibly go. Do everything you could possibly do. And in the course of that, you're going to meet somebody. But when you target a woman online and you meet her and she's waiting for you at the airport, man, you're going to mess up some stuff, man, especially her man. You're going to mess up some stuff. You don't have to do it. Those resorts you go to, those beaches that you go to, it's going to be women there. It's best to meet them right there. Catch them when they're not looking. Don't script anything about the Philippines. Let everything be spontaneous. Let everything be fun and exciting, man. Don't script that, because I'm going to tell you, man, if I could do it all over again, that's the biggest mistake I made. No, well, Norm, I'm going to tell you something. If you marry a Filipino over here in the Philippines, America doesn't even recognize your marriage unless you do something like you want to bring her over to the United States or something like that. So no, if you marry in the United States, then all the laws and everything in the United States apply to your marriage. But if you marry her over here, the United States doesn't even recognize your marriage. Plus, it's different over here. There's no child support over here or anything like that, alimony and all that, man. That's why women have it tough over here when they break up or when they separate and divorce. That's why you see a lot of kids over here. My ex already had a son, and now, and then we had a son together, but her son from the Filipino gets absolutely zero respect. The money that I send every month supports that whole family. See, that's just how it is, and I know now that she did that on purpose. She could have easily brought both of them to the United States. Why would you do that then? Then all of a sudden, that money I'm sending is going to stop. I'm going to send it to the United States. So she kept him here, on purpose. He's the golden goose, so to speak. See? Yeah. Right, Mike. And that happens a lot of times, but it usually happens in reverse. Usually happens where they'll come over here and get the woman pregnant, and then they'll skip back to the United States. I mean, you see that all the time because, Filipinos, they're just so trusting, man, and it gets them in trouble a lot of times. They're just so trusting, so they're going to take you on your word 100% of the time. That's why some of the most what I want to call them, just dirtiest of the dirty men come over here and just have their way with these women because, they're going to believe your story initially. But after a while, because Filipinos period, they don't have a lot of the distractions that we have in America. They're more connected with nature. They're going to be able to read you anyway. So when you first come over here, all those tricks might work for a month or two, but pretty soon they're going to see right through you. But by that time, she's already pregnant. He's already left. See, my ex was lucky because, yeah, Don Ridgway, I hear you, brother. That was me. Because you get over here and you're looking at everything in the American economy versus the Philippine economy. And you're looking at everything as a deal, but everything over here is not a deal. But when you come from America and you see something, like I said, that hotel, 5-star hotel, $80, $100, you're thinking, man, that's a deal. But you don't realize how much 5,000 pesos is over here. It's more than $100 in America, see? And that's where we get screwed up, man. We come over here and spend a lot of money. I see it because You know, Americans, we're spoiled, man. When we come over here the first time, we want the best hotels, the best restaurants, the best resorts. We want the best of everything. We ain't trying to be economic on anything. And that's, you know, and I don't blame you for your first trip, but you have to learn from then on. You can't do that every time you come over here. You're going to learn that there's an in-between lifestyle here that you can live and be just as comfortable, man. You don't have to stay on the resort. Rent you an Airbnb up the street from the resort and live just as nice for a quarter of the price. You understand? Um, instead of you getting a private driver, rent you a motorbike, you know, for a tenth of that. See, you know, and you'll learn that stuff. But when you first come over here, the first time you come over here, this is what I would suggest to you. If you don't hear nothing else I've said tonight, your first trip here, bring as much money as you can afford and stay as long as you possibly can. Because there's only one first time when you come over here to the Philippines. Everything's new, the sights, the sounds, the roosters, the horns going off, the women, everything is new, man. There's only one first time here. And remember, Filipinas love expat virgins. I've got a whole video on that. They love it when it's your first time here and they're showing you the Philippines. They're your tour guide. They're teaching you your first remnants of the language and the culture. So that's why I say take your time because you only get one time. See, once they learn that you've been over here before, man, it's a lot shine. You're never going to shine as bright as your first time. Once they find out you've been over here and you've dealt with Filipinos before, it's going to take some of the luster off of you. So if you're going to come over here and knowing what I'm telling you now, you're the best and the brightest your first time. You want the best and the brightest. Don't settle for somebody online. Don't settle for some mediocre woman just so she can meet you at the airport and you can roll around in the hay out after an 18-hour trip. Don't do that, guys. If you show a little patience when you get over here, man, the dividends you're gonna be paid, man, is so much more. I didn't know it. You know, you don't have to do that. You don't need a escort when you get here. The people here are so welcoming, they're so warm, they're so hospitable that you're safe. No one's going to bother you. You can get off the plane over here and just walk around, sightsee, go to your hotel, go to the mall, go to the market like you normally would anywhere else. Go to the beach. Catch her when she's not looking, but you're never as sharp as you are your first time here. So just remember that. Bring as much money as you can afford. Stay as long as you can. Okay? And hey, thanks, Andy, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you too, man. But yeah, Filipinos, they love expat virgins, man. They love when it's your first time over here and they're the first Filipino that you're fooling with. They're just like us. You don't want to come over here and fool with a woman that's been with 3 or 4 foreigners. You're not looking for that. Well, they think the same way. They're just saying, hey, I want somebody fresh. I want somebody new. I want an expat virgin. And I tell you what, you're going to have the time of your life. But I've already, when visiting locals, what's a good gift to bring? Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. They love milk chocolate over here. But if it's a woman, she also loves Victoria's Secrets. Okay? The lotion, the perfume, the lingerie. You might want to bring an Aeropostale shirt. If you come in here to see a man, buy some Levi. Guys, I don't know what happened. Secrets. If it's a man, chocolate and Levi's or anything, Nike, any American brand. They love American brands. But I went over my time, guys. I really appreciate it. It's my first live stream. I think I'm gonna do at least one a week because I want new subscribers. I want to give you some kind of context of where I'm coming from, where my channel's coming from, where my Facebook page is coming from. Because I invite you to stop by my Facebook page and see the good things we're doing over here, man. This channel is only a small part of what Sunshine Shoulders is all about. Really, I mean it. And thank you, Michael, man, for your kindness, for your love, for your support. I mean, you don't know what you've done, man. You've given me so much advice because I'm naive. You know, I've only done this for 3.5 months. But this gentleman, Michael D. Maralac, I mean, he's helped me tremendously just with his advice that he's given me as far as YouTube. Um, and I can't thank you enough, brother. I really appreciate it. Norman, man, thank you for stopping by, brother. Um, yeah, yeah, Havana flip-flops. But you can't go wrong with chocolate, Victoria's Secrets, anything American brand, but bring something, guys. This is the third, it's a third world country. People are starving over here. Uh, you know, don't let the Facebook post and the YouTube videos fool you. It's extremely difficult to earn a living over here. So don't come over here being cheap. And I've got a video about that. Don't come over here and waste your money either. But you know, when you come over here, the woman you meet, man, she doesn't have a lot of money, man. She's not gonna have a whole lot of stuff. So you got to buy underwear, bras, and different things like that. But it's okay. If you spend $100 a day here, man, it's more than enough on your vacation. Okay, the only time you're gonna have to spend a little bit more is when you meet the family. But thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. Your love, your kindness, your support of Sunshine Shoulders. I'm gonna put a video up later. And thanks, man. I mean, I'm humbled, man. I would never, if you could have told me 3.5 months ago that this channel would get the traction and affect people the way it has, man, I'd have told you was lying, man, because I was bored. I needed something to do. This pandemic was kicking my behind. But now that I know that I can help people, man, I love it, man. I enjoy it. And I'll never get rich monetarily doing this. Okay. YouTube is making a lot of money off me, I tell you that. Because I'm not earning any money. But thanks again. Take care. And look for my next. And remember, if you're in America, it's late. Please help somebody before you let your head hit the pillow. If you're on one of them late grocery runs and you see somebody out in the street, buy them something to eat, buy them something to drink, give them a couple of dollars. If you're in the Philippines, it's about 10:30 in the morning. We still have all the rest of the day to find somebody to help. Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. We help other people, we help ourselves. Thank you so much. Take care, stay COVID free, and I'll see you next time.